with you and have you here. Why don't you unmic if you're there and introduce yourself?
Thanks so much, Ron. My name is Jeffrey. The story guy and animation is my jam, is what I like to tell people. So I help businesses that are struggling to create compelling content. And we do that by producing story-driven, attention-grabbing visual content, 2D and 3D animation, as well as video. And this is a great conversation. I think it's important to have both, and they are different. You know, I think even though there may be overlap between a coach and a mentor, I think they serve different roles, and the approach of the relationship is different. Obviously, I think, you know, I kind of agree that, you know, mentors generally aren't paid, whereas, you know, coaches are. And also, I would just add to that mix kind of mastermind groups. So again, some of those are paid, which are organized that way, but I think it's important if you can try and find a group of like-minded people who can just be sounding boards. And so it's, you know, 5 heads are better than one in a lot of cases. And I think, you know, when you look at some of the kind of groups in Clubhouse, some of these rooms, this is kind of little mini masterminds that we can share and help with one another. And I think anytime you can get advice and help from those who have gone through something you're going through now, it can only but help. And I think the idea, it's, you know, you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Who you trust, who you listen to, who you help, and who helps you is super important in terms of being successful and happy. And so I always encourage people to make sure you spend the time to get to know people and make sure they're, you know, aligned with the way that you approach business and you approach life, and then hopefully build that relationship over time and get the help when you need it and give the help when you don't. So that's my 2 cents. Be great, animate. This is Jeffrey, and I have spoken.
Jeffrey, thank you so much, my man. I appreciate that. Really dope share. And, you know, one of the things that helped me as a kid here in Memphis, there is Regions Bank, which was a different bank at that time, but Regions Bank has a really nice kind of headquarters here in the center part of our city here in Memphis. They built a really nice building. It used to win a lot of awards. They built it in the mid-90s when I was a teenager. One of the things that really got me on my path where I entered banking was getting access to it. Because out of my neighborhood, there are no bankers that live there, right? You know, maybe some folks at the teller line, but there were no bankers that lived there. I didn't see anybody that looked like me and, you know, in that sort of space. We took a field trip to this building not long after it was built. Really nice. We call it the Taj Mahal because it's got this, you know, foreign imported flooring and that sort of thing. Really nice. And of course, eventually I got the opportunity to manage that branch that's inside of it early in my career. But the reason I'm sharing this is because as a teenager, we took a field trip to that building, and the bank president, African-American man, he's now retired, and he actually turned out to be a mentor of mine, quite frankly, and coincidentally. But seeing him operate, right? Seeing him in leadership, right? He wasn't this sellout guy that's, you know, he was himself, right? He dressed nice. He spoke clear, right? He was able to deliver messages to people. He was leading the process. He had authority, but he wasn't the boss, right? He was a leader. People worked alongside him. He wasn't going around just telling everybody what to do and just because he had the title. And that resonated with me, right? And I got a chance to meet him, shake his hand. He took us around, introduced us around the bank and whatnot. And I got to see people that even some who had some ties to my neighborhood that were there, right? And so that's what allowed me to see it. The same way I saw Allen Iverson and the same way I saw Michael Jordan and all that type. That's how I got to see and get exposure to that, right? To have the desire to want to play basketball. It was the same thing that cascaded to business and then even going forward into entrepreneurship. So it's that access. That was one of the key turning points for me. And so you just kind of triggered that in me, Jeffrey, in the spirit of what we're talking about. I was very fortunate. You know, there were people that, fortunately, I was blessed that people took a kid from Orange Mound, the area here in Memphis, one of the older Black historical communities in this country, took a kid and took a chance on him, right? And so that's why I'm sitting here right now. It's because there were some people that took a chance on me, and that's why we founded my organization, so we could do the same certainly for other people. So again, want to make that quick share. A couple other people we want to introduce, and then we definitely want to keep this conversation going here, Minding Your Business with myself, Ron Brooks. Fight for Your Business Club. Make sure you click up top and join the club. Be a part of it. You see the link here that has been shared. Look at that. Why leadership and mentorship does not need to fail us, right? Check that video out there on YouTube. Some good things as part of this conversation. Is it Vernice? Am I saying that right?
Yes, perfectly.
Ooh, I am, man, listen, I just never knew I would be nailing names the way that I am today. This is kind of more of a one-off. But Vernice, thank you for being here. Unmic and introduce yourself.
Absolutely. Thank you for getting my name right. You'd be surprised. I get Veronica. I don't know how they get Veronica out of that. But anyway.
Wow, Veronica.
Yeah, Veronica.
Way off.
Great morning, everybody. Excited to be in the room. It's been amazing just hearing all the wisdom that has been dropped in here. Everybody being willing to open their mic and share. Oh, my gosh. I'm just getting so full in here this morning. I'm Bernice K. Bell, native Floridian, and I'm in small business development. And what I love about the conversation that's happening right now is everybody has their own idea of coaching versus mentoring. And and personally, I have several mentors. And what I love about the difference in between them is myself as a coach and a mentor to some. Is you realize that mentors are more kind of easygoing, kind of like go with the flow, more building a relationship, more like I have a mentor that's like an auntie on the porch, and we just have conversations about where I'm going in business and how I want to grow in business, etc. But then some of my coaches are like, okay, we have a specific objective to get to, and that may take us a few months, or it may take us a year to get to where we're going. But I think the main difference for me is the type of relationship, and me feeling like a mentor. There's really no serious objective. It's just more like growing you as a person. And my coaches are like, no, we have specific objectives. We have specific milestones, and we need to hit them within a certain period of time. So I'm Bernice K. Bell, excited to be in the room. Thanks for the warm welcome. And I yield my mic.
Great to have you, Vernice. Appreciate that share. No doubt about it. I'm certainly to get this name right. Pete, my guy, how you doing, my friend? Go ahead and unmic and introduce yourself.
Well, thank you so much. This is Pete Cohen coming out of the United Kingdom that isn't so united. But yeah, look, Ron, it's great to meet you. Jay was talking about you in a room earlier on. I've been really intrigued by what I've heard you say. When I heard you talk about Michael Jordan, my ears completely pricked up. I've got every shirt that he ever wore. I'd like to think I'm one of the biggest Michael Jordan fans in history.
Hey,
and I remember reading Phil Jackson's book, Sacred Hoops. My experience is the greatest coaches, they're all mentors as well. John Wooden, who's probably one of the most successful coaches of all time as well. You can't help, if you're a good coach and you've been coaching people for a long time, you're naturally going to mentor people. But again, it's all down to the individual. My experience is I'm known as the people's coach over here in the UK. I've written 20 books published by the biggest publishing houses in the world. I've spoken all over the world. I've worked in the world of sports psychology. I worked with the Arsenal football team, or should I say the Arsenal soccer team. And I was with them for 2 seasons. And one of those seasons, they were unbeaten. I believe that coaching is so important. I've had coaches. I was coached by someone for 16 years of my life. I wouldn't be who I was. But you can't help but I don't think you can't help but mentor people if you've had experience. If you've had experience, you're mentoring people sometimes without even words, just by being in the room, by bringing your experience. It's an energy, it's a vibration where you're there to be someone that they can look up to. And I think that that's what coaching really is at the same time. So I suppose ultimately it's all up to us. I just think the older I get, the more I become more of a mentor to people. But listen, Ron, it's really great to meet you. Jay was just singing your praises. I'm not following you, but I am now. There you go. And I'm going to pass the mic back to you. There's some great people in this room, and I appreciate the opportunity to learn and connect. Back to you.
Thanks so much, Pete, man. I appreciate that love and those kind words, man. That definitely means a lot. And I'm doing the same thing. I have followed everyone, I think, here on stage, catching Stephen as well. And that's important because as we have these different rooms, it's good to be connected. It's good to be have that bell notification. So if you click that on whoever, again, that resonates with you, that way you'll be notified when rooms open or they're speaking in other rooms. And again, that's a great way to continue to grow your network. Everyone here on stage, look out. Obviously, at the end of this room, I'll be reaching out with a message. And it's like what it was said earlier. I think someone mentioned about, kind of really, cascading these rooms into connections and really reaching out to people and furthering their relationships. And so I think that is very, very important. And I think we should all, really consider doing that, right? That's how you just never know who you're talking to, right? As someone that has my organization, River City Capital, we are a certified CDFI, which means a community development financial institution. There are about 1,300 of those around the country. And I'm one of right now about 65 Black-led CDFIs. And so we raise money from banks through their CRA program or Community Reinvestment Act, as well as various kind of regional and national foundations and associations. And one of the things that I've found in doing that as we raise funds, and we're in the middle of a capital raise now, strategic plan with my board of directors. And, I'm always looking at, how are we able to connect and really foster relationships? It's so important. As I have to be able to articulate and share how that support, then we're able to cascade that to the work, right? Which is, as I mentioned, providing that low cost funding for small businesses. The loan that, for those of you that were in the room earlier, the loan that we're doing for the startup business tomorrow. Will we get that final approval from our board of directors? $140,000 they're purchasing their first building. The rate is fixed 5.71% for 10 years. It's actually the mortgage payment that they're going to pay to us is less than the rent they're paying on the building right now. So it's going to free up some capital for them to do some improvements. And they've got a really nice, clean business. It's actually two brothers that met and formed that business, and they're doing very well. They started it last year. They're starting to get government contracts and things like that. And so, and again, just for full disclosure, they don't have the greatest credit profile, and they didn't have the great outside the building. They didn't have the greatest collateral and those type of things. But what they did do, and Celeste, going back to what you had mentioned, they were open to kind of listening and being open to that mentorship and sharing things, and in some cases critiquing the business. And they took those things with a great attitude, right? And so we were able to serve and others as kind of these quasi mentors. And as a result, they're now able to get funding. They would have never been able to get this from the bank, right? Because they just didn't have the background and the profile and that sort of thing. But we're doing it for them. And for me, it's very rewarding. And I think there needs to be more of that out there, more of that support, going back to what we're talking about. So anyway, I'm going to shut up now. The floor is open. If anybody wants to continue to share, definitely share the room, join the club. You see the link to my business card, my 10K card. Definitely connect with me. I've got resources there for you. If you're interested in engaging those, or if you want to schedule kind of a one-on-one discovery call with myself, I am more than happy to do just that. But floor is open, guys. Let's do it.
Ron, I love it. You're going back to like true community-based banking, right? I mean, like knowing the people, having a direct relationship, being able to go to a board and say, listen, they may not have the best credit, but they got a real business, and I believe in the group that's running it. I think it's beautiful. We need to go back to that. Really community-based, really having bankers get out and meet the owners, meet the businesses, see the people. And I know you're not running a bank. You're running a very special, highly specialized lending institution, which I think is beautiful. But I love your relationship-based focused. That is missing in so much of our financial institutions today. You know, they look at a credit score, they look at this, they look at that, and they don't even talk to the person. You know, it's like, well, meet with them first, right? See what kind of person they are. Maybe there's something you don't know about them that would be like a really good piece of knowledge in making an underwriting decision. So I applaud what you're doing. I think it's really beautiful, and thank you for hosting this room. And I do love Memphis. I had a daughter there for 4 years. I love your city. I love the scrappiness. I love the hoop team. I'm a Buckeye, so I'm a big Mike Conley fan. I know he's not leading you anymore. Ja is. But, yeah, man, I love your town, and I love what you're doing.
Yep. Gordon, I thank you so much for that, man. I appreciate, again, those kind words, brother. That's great that your daughter had a chance to be here. Yeah, Mike's a good guy. When he was here, he used to help raise some funds with us. And so he's definitely a great guy. We miss him. He used to host a bowl-a-thon here, which was really fun. And it used to be a nice fundraiser. But, yeah, we have Ja. Ja's a great kid. I was just in the arena this past Monday when they played the Nets, which was a really good game, high scoring. But, yeah, we have a great team here, a great infrastructure. And, yeah, that's what, when we founded the organization, that's what it was founded on, is that relationship focus, like you mentioned, Gordon. And, that's a lot of what we're talking about is, how do you form those relationships? And again, I'll spare everyone my rant on credit, right? I might have to open a whole nother room and I can drop bombs and give my rant on credit. But again, an example of the deal that we're looking to do, I mean, both low 600, even sub 600 scores, I didn't give a crap, right? My thing is, do we have a business process? Again, is there anything systemic? Of course, you got to be real with it, right? I mean, if there's anything systemic issues, I want, to be aware of that. But my biggest thing is, can we help them out? And again, we're not going to just do the loan and walk away and wait for them to pay, right? We're going to still be involved, still offer the support, and still be available. And so that's what I think it's, financial institutions should be. And that's where you see CDFIs getting back to that. But no, thank you so much for that, Gordon. Yeah, let's continue the conversation. Please, whoever wants to jump in.
Hey, Ron.
Hey, before you go, Janice. Hey, Jay, how you doing?
Hey, real quick. I am home. I'm back. I'm here. And I just have one question, but it's not for you. It's literally for everybody else. How's Ron doing so far? You guys having a good time? Is this room valuable so far?
And be honest, please be honest, please.
Amazing.
Terrific.
I love it. I love it.
Love this guy.
I love it. Hell yeah. Love it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know we've had a round table of mods. He's definitely been one of the best at making sure everybody can jump in, be respectful. So I really appreciate you, Ron.
Yeah, thank you for that, Celeste.
Awesome.
Hey, Jay, Ron. This is Rob, guys. Ron just got a follow from me, man. I'm impressed. How's it going, Jay?
Man, everything is everything, brother. No doubt about that. It is good. Hey, right. Real quick, listen. I don't want to take over the room. I just want you to know that I'm back. But before I go back to silently listening, and I'll chime in where I can. Real quick, Janice, I know you had a question for me. Did that question get answered, or do you need me to help you?
Oh, yes. If you could put it in the back channel, that would be great, because I still don't know how to do it.
I'll make it even easier. Yeah, I'll make it even easier for you. So Here's the thing. Janice's question was, okay, so we had an issue where somebody's mic accidentally got opened or something, I guess, and somebody was able to mute them remotely. How do you do that? So Janice, what I want you to do is I want you to just touch my face real quick. We're going to go to that very first open screen. And if you look at my profile picture in that half screen, you'll see it has a little microphone. Go ahead and hit that.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
That's how you do it. There you go.
There you go.
Ron, brother, I've had the chance to listen in a little bit, not a whole lot, but man, keep going. You are killing it, and you have got a permanent home right here anytime you want it. You got a room with me, baby. Let's keep going.
Oh, and really quick, do y'all know about the new feature? Because that is a game changer.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that.
Do share, Celeste.
Yeah, please.
So if you are a moderator and you touch the three dots in the upper right, and you scroll down a little bit, there's a mute all other speakers button. That works really well when people start rah-rah-rahing at each other. You just put mute all and everybody goes on mute except for you.
Or if you can't figure out whose mic is open. If you got a large stage like this and you can't figure it out, it's just a real quick phone. Take care of it.
Yeah, Jay, so
everyone.
That's great.
Just before we go back to Ron, earlier on I pressed the mute all button at that point when everyone wanted to start arguing about whether a mentor should be free or not free, and it just started turning into one of those silly rooms. This isn't the 10 cents marathon room. So if stuff like that happens.
Yeah, that was the action that propelled me, Darren, to say, how can I do that?
I did that. I was asked by Jay before Jay popped out for a bit to help support Ron. If things like that happen in here and I'm going to stop things like that, because that was terrible for a moment. But anyway, over to you, Ron.
We appreciate you, Darren.
Definitely. Yeah, I told him that in the back chat. Hey, brother, I appreciate you doing that because, yeah, and again, thanks for Celeste and Jay for sharing that insight. That's great for being in these rooms and moderate because, yeah, you have to make sure you keep, a level of order in the room. And I'm always big on it's great to have passion and things of that nature and engage, but we always also want to be respectful, right? And make sure that everybody's heard and everybody feels safe in their expression. That's what it's about. And we want to always have that and always allow everybody to feel like they have that voice without being talked over or certainly not getting into some of the foolishness that you see in some other rooms. So, and I appreciate everybody's feedback. Jay, I appreciate your kind words. We want to keep the conversation going. And Robert, we had just heard from you. I followed you back, my man. I definitely want you to get an opportunity to give an introduction, and then we'll allow Joseph and then Stacy.
Hey, don't forget, Janice wanted to jump in too, Ron.
Yeah. Janice, I've got you down as well.
All right. Hey, Ron, how you doing, buddy? It's Rob Paizola, and I'm the CEO and president of Western Capital International. I started this journey 17 years ago with the Trump Organization, and we were the guys that would have everybody come to a hotel, and then we would meet at the Learning Annex in front of 10,000 people and talk to people and sell books and tapes and mentoring and coaching and all that type of fun stuff. I just made a comment in the open room that, don't try, guys. Find somebody who has been through it. Take their worldly experience, and you will save thousands, if not millions, of dollars. And I'm a walking example of what can happen whenever you just trust your gut and you go with somebody who you resonate with and it works. Jay is a master. Ron, I'm hearing you for the first time, man. It takes a lot to impress me, man. But Jay has a way of outlining exactly what you need to do. And you know what? Having a mentor, guys, is not about being easy. Keep that in mind. Let me just say that real simple. It's not about being easy. Your mentor's goal is to push you over your limit. And you know what? Ron's limit might be just as completely different than Jay's limit. But that's okay, because that's what you need. Because you don't want people around you that are just yes, yes, yes. So guys, I absolutely am excited to be here. I love what I do. You can look at my bio. It's got all kind of crazy stuff in it. I have a podcast that we're in 47 countries and 4 different languages, and we have over 1 million followers between YouTube and all the different platforms. So it is a pleasure to be here, and as always, I love the time I'm spending with you, Ron.
Yeah,
Thank
Robert.
you. Hey, Rob.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, Jay.
Hey, real quick. This is for you, but this is for everybody else as well. You and I had a conversation, and we've had a tough time bouncing back and forth with schedules and so forth. But
yes, sir.
I would love to schedule some time for you and I to chat. And so for you, or for anybody else in the room, if you need some help, if there's something that you want to talk about, if you need some time with me, I would be honored to buy 30 minutes of time for you with me to sit and chat.
That sounds great, Jay, because I just got back from Hawaii last night. I just flew in. I'm back in Las Vegas right now. So I've been all over the place, and I had a meet and greet for people in Denver, and I've just been, now I'm relaxing a little bit. So you know what? I'll take you up on that, my brother. There's a lot of stuff we could do.
Well, listen, do me a favor. Just click the link that's right there above my head.
Okay.
And you can schedule a Zoom call right from there. And again, that's open to anybody. Guys, I would be more than honored that you want to spend a little bit of time. If you want it, I'm happy to do that with you. 30-minute consultation, no sales pitch unless you ask me for one. And happy to help if I can.
You gotcha. Hey, thanks, Jay. I'm doing that right now for you, buddy. Hey, thanks so much, my friends. God bless you all.
Yeah, no.
And if you follow me, I'll follow you back.
Awesome. And Robert, I appreciate that. Jay, listen, I had my conversation with Jay. He purchased that time for me yesterday. And I'm just going to tell you, it's just straight up, just being real with you. It was well worth the time. It was great. And in a short period of time, I think we got a chance to know each other a little bit better and, kind of talk through what, opportunities can look like for each other. And I look forward to continuing that connectivity. And Jay, I appreciate the support and the invitation to be kind of a part of this family and this club here for Fight for Your Business. So thank you so much for that, for sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. We want to hear, Janice, I promise I'm coming to you. Stacy joined the stage. So Stacy, if you want to unmic and introduce yourself, please do.
Hey, so it is currently snowing right now. So really interesting to see that, although I'm not really surprised. We are coming. Just summer's summer's gone, and I just can't believe how fast this year has gone. I'm Stacy McConnell, and I am a business strategist, speaker, coach, and former C-suite executive. I founded the Powerhouse Executive for one reason and one reason only, and that's to help get your business to 6 figures and beyond in revenue. And one of the strategies that we work on first to do that is through the public speaking realm. So I also love what I do. I love business strategy. And to me, there is not a business that is not scalable. You have to be creative with the business models, which is one of those things that is many times overlooked. So that's what I enjoy doing. So I'm really happy to be here, Jay. So great to see you and all the amazing people that this room attracts.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Stacy. I'm following you. I'd love to, again, I'll be shooting you a message. Love to learn a little bit more about what you do. And you're in a space that's similar to mine with my company. And so I'd love to, compare notes with you and just build connectivity. So look out for that. And we're so glad to have you here in this room. Janice, you've been waiting patiently. I know you want to share some more. So the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ron, and thank you, everyone. This has been an amazing conversation. And one of the things, as we were talking about the mute ministry, one of the things you mentioned, Ron, was that it's great to have passion, and that's true. There's a lot of passion around the topics that we've talked about, and also to have compassion, and that's where that mute ministry came into play. So I appreciate that and learning those 2 tools there. One of the things I wanted to ask with regard to minding our business, now we know, I believe we know more of the importance of mentoring. And I also heard another thread coming in at the tail end, which was about relationships and who we know. So can we kind of field the concept of the importance of networking in conjunction with business development, if that would be something that you're open to?
Absolutely, Janice. Yeah, let's do it. The floor is open. Anybody that wants to jump in, please do.
I will tell you one thing that I think is incredibly important, and that is that, back in the day, we used to say it's not what you know, it's who you know. Well, that was good in my father's day and age, maybe even my grandfather's day and age. But that's not the way it works anymore. It's not about who you know. It's about who knows you. The fact that I know Pete Cohn does absolutely no good to me. If Pete knows me, that does me some good. And vice versa. It's not about who you know. It's about who knows you. So when I say that to my clients, to my students, to my friends, what I mean is, well, you know what I mean, but the way that we utilize that information is incredibly important. And so that's why, when you hear me every damn day at every single reset saying, hey, listen, a follow without the follow up, that's just stalking. That's what I'm talking about. You can follow me, you can follow Ron, you can follow Aaron and Gordon and Annalee and Janice and everybody else, and I hope you do, because I think they're amazing people. They wouldn't be on this stage and they wouldn't have those moderator badges if they weren't. But I want you to know, when you find somebody that resonates with you, go ahead and follow them, but do the 30 seconds after, the 30 seconds that make champions. The 30 seconds is simple. Reach out on Instagram. Get off this app, go to Instagram. The link is there in every single person's bio on this stage. Go to their Instagram and send them a message that says, hey there, listen, I saw you in, Fight for Your Business Club. I really liked what you were saying about this or that, or, I disagree with this or that, or, hey, can you help me with this or that, whatever it might be, or I can help you in this way. Start the conversation, because without that, you are a nameless number that means next to nothing on this app. Whether you have four followers, 4,000 or 40,000 followers doesn't necessarily matter. Pete proved that earlier when he did a pop-up room. Pete's a guy that's got 36,000 people following him, did a pop-up room, and there were 6 of us in the room. It has no bearing. Your follower count has almost no bearing. It's not who you know. It's who knows you. So take that and run with it and utilize it to your advantage. 30 seconds is all it takes. Back to you, Ron.
Bam. Hey, listen, I mean, again, not only the mic drop, I mean, you just throw the mic. I mean, again, you can't frame that any better, right? Again, that's the next step. That's what takes you from, again, just being here in the room and connecting and following and growing followers. That's all great. But like Jay said, just take that extra time, right? Just connect with people, shoot a line. And it's about those conversations. People talk about doing deals, and I need another deal. I know when I put on my real estate hat, people talk about, I need another deal, Ron. I need to find a deal. No, deals, deals are deals, but deals are done with people. You need to have more conversations, right? And that's across, not whether it's real estate, whatever part of business is. What you're really seeking is, you need to have more meaningful conversations, and you've got to own your desk in driving those, right, and initiating those, and then coming with value, right? And part of coming with that value is understanding not only who you are, but what do you want to be, right? What do you want to be? What are you looking for? And so, what Jay said, I hope everybody takes to heart, because that was very powerful. Notice he didn't say anything about reaching out and saying, hey, I want you to be my mentor. Hey, I want you to do this. I want you to do that, blah, 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 blah. Right. And certainly it's not reaching out to people and saying hi and hello. Please don't do that. If you reach on Instagram or whatever, because you don't want to come off as a bot. Right. And so, yeah, definitely take that time. After this room, I challenge everyone, take that time and, pick out one person, right, that, as Jay mentioned, that's resonated with you, and shoot them a line. Just start with one, right? I'm going to do much more than that, but definitely start with one person and do that. So, Jay, great share. Anybody else that wants to jump in, please?
I'd love to just speak into that. What Jay was just sharing there about that whole thing of, it's not what you know, it's who you know. But it's really like, who knows you? I think one of the greatest things I've learned is the power of edification. When you edify people, you literally, and that was what I was just thinking. It's like Ron's just moderating this room for us, for this space, for us. And for us to turn around to Ron and say, hey, Ron, what can we do for you? There's a couple of things I'll just say very briefly on this. How many of us in this room have read Think and Grow Rich? How many of us have read it like more than once? I actually spoke on behalf of the Napoleon Hill Foundation in Vegas to about 25,000 people, and little did I know that Napoleon Hill's grandson was in the audience. I was talking about, your burning desire, and everyone, you need to know what that is. And he came up to me afterwards. I didn't actually know who he was, until afterwards, and he said that his grandfather was misrepresented, because what Napoleon Hill actually meant is it wasn't necessarily having this massive burning desire of what you wanted. It was more the desire to know who you actually need to be in order for you to bring whatever it is you want to bring into this world. And that's what Gandhi was about. Many of you who've heard me speak before, you've heard me say that. Gandhi said, be the change that you want to see in this world. He knew that who he wasn't who he needed to be in order for him to do what he needed to do. And he inspired so many people. He inspired me massively. I never met Gandhi. And then he massively inspired Martin Luther King. And of course, Martin Luther King said, and I have a dream, but he also said the most important question we should be asking is, what can we do for each other? And that's what Napoleon Hill said. He said, the era of the go-getter is gone. This is the era of the go-giver. And I'm prepared to give. I'm prepared to invest in relationships. And I don't expect always quick wins. I think the greatest successes are kind of always delayed if you want to build something big. But I just say to you, Ron, I know a little bit about you, but what can we do for you? What can we all do for you in this room right now? Is there anything we can do to help and support you? Is there anything you need us to know about who you are and what you're doing? Because I think you're fairly new to Clubhouse, right? Or maybe not. You've been here a while.
Yeah.
Let's see. When did you? What can we do for you?
Yeah, no, Pete, real quick. I appreciate that question. And again, that's really just kind of you. I think the biggest thing is, I just want to be able to have more conversations. That's one of the things. I think if I can simplify that, and more conversations around, how can I add value? My organization is very localized, right? Right now we're chartered through the Department of Treasury, and we're very localized in this Memphis community. But I want to have conversations around, how to be able to support low to moderate income communities and the people in them to kind of create this shared prosperity. That's our mission, and that's my kind of personal mission. So with everything that I do that I mentioned earlier, from the podcast to being in rooms like this, to real estate investing, and then finally with River City Capital, all centers around this spirit of how do we create, either amplifying voices and create this kind of shared prosperity. So I think the biggest thing, I'd love to just have conversations. I'm along with Jay. If you want to just schedule some time, I'd love to just, again, have a conversation, get to know people better, and, talk some more about the work and maybe see how the work that you're doing, maybe there's a line or there's some synergy that creates opportunity. So that's the biggest thing I've gotten to now, man. I'm 41 at this point. And I really just want to continue to grow network. My wife and I have got 3 beautiful daughters here, 12, 11. My 9-year-old will be 10 next month. So, yeah, we're done. So no one needs to come off mic and say, where's the boy? No, we're done. We're very blessed with our 3 beautiful daughters. I do have 2 boy dogs, American Cocker Spaniels. They don't speak up too well for me against the ladies, but nonetheless, those are my guys. And so very fortunate, continue to build with that. But Pete, I appreciate that question. But again, the answer, if I can engage in more conversations with people in this room and then beyond, people that would resonate with me and can connect. And again, I want it to be of reciprocity, right? And so if we can build relationships around that, that would be really great, my friend.
Thank you for sharing that. I feel like I've just got to know you a lot better by you sharing that, and I appreciate it. I'm done speaking.
If you really, I would encourage everyone to lean into LinkedIn. I'm not on Instagram. I know it's an incredible platform. My wife she's got like 90,000 followers. She's an amazing interior designer. I do all my damage and all my connectivity on LinkedIn. And what I've found is I'm approaching 17,000 connections, but I use it in a way that is invaluable. You can screen, you can identify sectors, you can identify people. I can connect with someone on LinkedIn, have a conversation with them. It may take me a few times of messaging them once I connect with them, but once you do, it's magic. And I'll just give you one example. I met with I'm in Atlanta, and Georgia Tech is like a badass engineering school. And I mentored a number of Georgia Tech entrepreneurs during the pandemic. So now I'm kind of like wired in there. And I met with an entrepreneur the other day. I met with an engineer who is offering, he thinks, something that could be really like big in the automotive sector and blah, 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 right? So instead of me spending time like trying to figure out, well, now I got to be an expert on the automotive sector, no, I connected with the CEO of Porsche. He responded to my outreach, and he also responded to me asking him a question about technology. And now, was it right away? No. It took me 3 months of one message a month about how I was interested in this area of auto development in the future. I've run into an entrepreneur that might have created something. Is this something the point is, he eventually responded. He eventually gave me the answer I needed to know, so I could go back to the entrepreneur and say, you know what? This ain't going to work. You haven't thought of these two things. And unless you can solve these two things, you ought to put no more energy into this. That was invaluable. So, and if it wasn't for LinkedIn, it never would have happened. And I also want to emphasize one more thing. People are much more, the odds of you getting an answer to a message on LinkedIn is higher than you would if you emailed that person directly or message them on other apps, because LinkedIn is all about business, getting business done. And so it's a serious app, and it's an app that the users take very seriously. So I love the other apps. I love the fact that people have amazing results on Insta and all this, but lean into LinkedIn. That's where the pros gather, and that's how the pros connect with each other. With that, I'll drop the mic.
Hey, Gordon, it's Rob. I just got to follow up real quick, man. You know what? That goes exactly back to what Jay said about the social currency, about meeting people. You know what, guys? We can be whatever we want to be online. But you know what? On that LinkedIn profile, when you have 1,000 CEOs following you and you're actually working with people, there's no way to fabricate or manipulate that profile to create an overnight success. You have to work it. It is absolutely magical. And you know what? It does not surprise me at all, Gordon, that you were able to reach out to the CEO of Porsche. I've reached out to the CEOs of some of the biggest companies and gotten responses where if I had gone through customer service, sent a letter, sent an email, I wouldn't have had anything. Guys, the word is social currency. Like he said, tell us who knows you. If you have LinkedIn, you have to work it. But over the years, as it gets bigger, you're going to be amazed at the number of people that are growing, going through the same things that you are, that you're going to absolutely love to have in your network. So that's my point. I'm done. Thank you so much.
Robert and Gordon, listen, that was incredible from both of you. I'm a heavy LinkedIn user. I'm kind of right there with you, Gordon. I'm around that 18, 19,000 connections there. But you think about that, a key piece to that, and I don't want to belabor the points that you gentlemen just made, but when you think about, as long as LinkedIn's been around, you never heard of anybody buying followers on LinkedIn or buying connections, right? Every connection you have to make is fairly organic because, one, you have to reach out and then people have to accept it, right? And of course, there's all kinds of different ways, to be able to do that authentically. But, again, as Robert just mentioned, when you're connecting with people tend to not really fake the funk when it comes to LinkedIn. People use their authentic name, they're their authentic selves there. And so that's different than some of the other kind of social media platforms. So yeah, no, I am in full agreement that LinkedIn, if you're not a heavy LinkedIn user, as Robert mentioned, it does take time to build, right? It's not one of those things where you can find some company and all of a sudden you got 100,000 bots following you tomorrow and you look like you got something going on, right? You have to build it. You have to do it kind of connection by connection. However, if you can cascade that into authenticity of really following up and remaining connected, you can get some tremendous results on LinkedIn. Definitely for sure. and taking that even beyond, just, for those that are in the workforce, just looking for jobs and that sort of thing. It goes well beyond that. Definitely connect with those great people. Jay, you and Mike, so I want to make sure I'm not talking over you.
No worries. I appreciate you giving me a couple seconds back here. Guys, look, I have got personally a hard stop coming up at the top of this hour. I've got a one of those calls, actually, that I need to take. So, Ron, I want to just let you know, first and foremost, thank you for everything you've done. Feel free to keep this room going as long as you desire. And when you're done or when it's done, by all means, feel free to go ahead and close out the room. But I want to close it out for myself anyway. I just want to drop one quick story for you because it's of vital importance to me. And there are enough people in this room that I want to say it today. I usually hold this story off until Fridays, but I want to give it to you real quickly. And I'm going to give you the shorter version of it. And it's simply this. At 19 and 20 years old, I was homeless on the streets in Orlando, Florida. And long story short, there were kids out on the streets suffering the same way that I was. And they had absolutely nothing to do with what put them on the street. And they had no power to get themselves off the street. And so I've created everything that I've done as an entrepreneur over the last 20 years with the intent of helping to create jobs, creating opportunities so that those parents that didn't have that opportunity could put food on their table, could have a table in the first place, could have a roof over that table in the first place. So unbelievably important that we look after the kids. And I want to admonish one time everybody in the room. I want to beg you. I will get down on here, hang on a second. I am literally on my knees right now begging you to take action. And the action that I'm begging you to take is simply this. Put a ball in your car. Put a Frisbee in your car. Put a kite in your car. Put something in your car. And this weekend, while you're driving around, wherever you live, I guarantee you there are homeless families in your neighborhood. I promise you they're there. You just have to look for them instead of looking away. And when you find them, I want you to get out of the car. Be 5 minutes late for your next appointment. This is worth it. Be 5 minutes late and spend that 5 minutes kicking that ball around with them, throwing that ball to them, flying that kite with them, whatever it might be. Make them smile. Because at the end of the day, these kids are becoming dehumanized. They're not seen because we won't look at them. You know we do it. We drive right on past and we look the other way because we're ashamed or we're guilty or we just don't know how to act. And if you watch these kids, their eyes are in the dirt. They don't even bother to look up anymore because they know that there's. So I'm begging you, make a difference in somebody's life this weekend. It will put a smile on their face. It'll put a smile on yours. And you have no idea the power of a few minutes of human interaction with somebody that shows they give a damn about where they are and what's going on in their world. With that, I thank you all for being here. I appreciate and respect everybody in here for everything that you do on a daily basis. And Ron, I turn the room and control back to you, brother. I appreciate it. I'll try and be back if I can in a little while.
Hey, Jay, thank you so much for that, man. We have to, I think we should really just let that rest for just a second, right? Just let that kind of, rest on yourself with what Jay shared. Many of us have reached, levels of success. However, we determine that for ourselves. And we just have to be, and Janice mentioned this earlier, I've said this and others, is, there's a level of compassion, a level of empathy that you have to have. And as our economy continues to evolve, right, there's I was just going to share that CNN CEO just came out with an article this morning saying that they're looking at some different layoffs and things like that. And of course, their parent company, Warner Brothers, has already been part of that. So you're seeing companies now looking at how they're right sizing and kind of batten down the hatches a little bit for, kind of upcoming, what they think is some, economic uncertainty and maybe, retractions of the economy and things like that. But that thing, a lot of that's getting cascaded down to people. And so when you see people and the ability to just have some empathy and compassion for them, can go a long way. And you just never know who you'll meet, right? And sometimes it's easy to judge. We've become a society that's judged so much on number of followers and likes and shares and all that type of thing. And so again, I just wanted to double down on Jay's point and the challenge that he issued. For all of us is as we come across people, sometimes just take a moment with them, right? And that can make a world of difference for somebody out there. And you never know that person that you may spend some time with, you may inspire and may even serve as kind of a quasi mentor for them. And at some point in your walk, personally and professionally, you may come across them even again, right? You just never know. So no, Jay, I appreciate that. And I appreciate your support for me in this room. I've got a few more minutes before I'll have to run. I'll have to get to some other business as well. However, I want to open the floor. If anybody has a share or anything you want to express, please do.
Ron, can I just jump in on what Jay said?
Please.
I think it's so important, as you said, to actually, if you possibly can, get out and spend some time with people. But, we're not always in a position to do that. And a place where people often will try and get some money or food is at the traffic lights. I don't know where you are, but in South Africa, where my mom lives and where we spent a few months now again, people will be at the traffic lights with a sign, I've got kids to feed, or sometimes children are standing there. And what we did while we were there is we went and bought a whole bunch of cans of baked beans, because beans are nutritious. And we got the ones with a pull-off tab top and some bamboo spoons and some lollipops. So if there was an adult, standing at the traffic light that said, I've got 2 kids to feed, we'd give them 3 cans of beans, one for them and one for each child. And if there was a kid standing and, begging at the traffic lights, we'd give them a can of beans, the bamboo spoon, and a lollipop. And just a smile, because you can't get out there, you have to move on. But at least, they feel somebody cares and they can put some food in their belly right away. So, beans are easy to carry around. They don't, go off. So always have some cans of beans under the car seat. That's my little tip. So, Hanley, I'm done.
Yeah, Annalie, thank you so much. Please go ahead, whoever that was. Stacy, go ahead.
Yeah, Annalie, great recommendation there. Great tip for that. I come from the banking industry as a C-suite executive there, and we had this saying there that just because someone has bad credit doesn't make them a bad person. Bad things happen to good people. And whether it is, a credit score, whether it is being in a homeless situation, it really can happen to anybody. It really can. I had this very traumatic experience in Miami just after I left my cushy position. I was just starting my business and had really no idea. I was just getting started. And so at this time I was living off my savings, had no income coming in. And I come back from Miami and I had, so I was carjacked and sexually assaulted is what happened. I come back, I was all beat up. I had broken bones, but I think the biggest thing was really that my spirit was broken. And I am so lucky that I had savings in the bank, because I did not have the energy. I had to drop the clients that I had because I seriously could not serve them in a way that was in a way that they were paying me for. I just wasn't able to do that, and it wasn't fair to keep them if I wasn't able to help them at that point in my life. So I had to drop my clients. And not only did I drop my clients, I wasn't able to take on other clients. Had I not had that savings or that cushion in my bank account, I could very well have been one of those homeless people. It can really happen to anybody.
You know, Stacy, one, I appreciate your transparency. That is, such a tough story. I'm so sorry that happened to you, and your message is well received. That, I've always said this: you take anybody and you freeze their bank accounts, you freeze their assets, right, where they can't get a hold to them. You're back to being a human, right? Like, those things can happen to anybody. Unfortunate situations, and it's all about, at the end of the day, how do we, support people, right? And how do we show that empathy and compassion, while also challenging people to level up and be better. I definitely get all that, and there's a place for that. But, what you just described is, like you say, it's, sometimes we're just a few degrees away, right? And so, that's why it's so important to connect, and just, be a good person to your fellow, man here and fellow woman, because you just never know how life can take its turns. And, just like we're talking about with banking, a lot of life comes down to what kind of deposits do you make, right? Because at some point you're going to need to make a withdrawal. Right. At some point you'll need to withdraw. And if you hadn't made any deposits, Stacey, you know this, and those of you, from banking, you look kind of silly going to withdraw from a bank account you never deposited in, right? And so life is like that. And so you like to make deposits through life. And that's one of the ways, like Jay mentioned, that's a great way to make a nice large deposit into life, right? Is just to go and give a nice word to somebody who is not going to be in a corporate suit, is not going to be at the next webinar, and they're not going to be at the Mixer events and that sort of thing. They may not be here on Clubhouse. They may not have the squeaky clean bio. And like you mentioned, Stacy, they may not have the 800 credit score and 500, doors of assets and that sort of thing. But, just, connecting with people and making that deposit. And when the day comes, just like we all know with bank accounts, the day will come where you'll want to make a withdrawal and you'll have a balance to withdraw from, right? And there's a great feeling when you got a balance to withdraw from versus when you don't, right? So anybody else that wants to jump in, I'm going to go just a few more minutes. Darren, are you there still?
Yep, right here.
Yep, excellent. I'm not sure if I'll need to run because I'll need to take care of some other business. So we can, after a few more shares, we can either close the room out, or if you or any other moderator wants to continue the discussion, let me or Darren know, and we'll keep the room open.
Yeah, we usually run the room for about 2 hours. So if there's people on the stage that still need to share that haven't yet, then yeah. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap it up.
Okay, great. Yep, definitely. Thanks, Darren, for that. So let's get a few more shares, and then we'll kind of wrap up for the day. This has been a great conversation, great shares with great people.
Alex, were you trying to jump in? Oh, go ahead. I saw you kept micing. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was patiently waiting, and then a client came in, so I had to jump off and then jump back on. So my name is Alex. I'm a CEO of a company called Care First Training Group. We teach parents to professionals on how to save life through CPR, first aid, OSHA training. So it's a little unique compared to everybody else in the room. In terms of mentoring, I know that's been a big topic today. One of my best mentors, and I hate to say it, and you guys might kill me for this, was my mom. She was the best mentor I ever had. And she always had great advice. She always knew how to push me. But in terms of mentors, it's organic. One of the things that somebody talked about was networking. And I always told my wife, because she's a teacher and she doesn't really understand the whole entrepreneur-y thing. Every time I gave her a stack of business cards, I'm like, every single one of these is $1,000 if you hand it out. And that's the attitude that you have to have. And she's gotten me a couple of jobs, and then she's like, ooh, give me more. But, the follow-up is the key, and doing the one-to-ones. I mean, I've talked to people in my business, and we've become very good friends, and we've actually swapped business. Why? because he does something or she does something that I don't do, or vice versa. And I think that doing one-to-ones with people is the key. I know you guys said, have a conversation off Clubhouse, but the bottom line is you have to interact with people, because people don't do business with people because they need to. They do business because they want to. So if I'm a dog lover, well then maybe I'll do business with Ron a little bit more than I would. I have a daughter. He's got 3. Those are the kind of things that people do business with. And one of the last things, I know somebody talked about Napoleon Hill, and I've taken a master class of that, and my business has increased the last 3 years. I went from 78,000, and now the last 2 years I'm over 100,000 each year for the last 2 years. And I'm ecstatic because I never thought I'd get to that point. But one thing that Napoleon Hill says in his book is you have to burn the ships. You only go forward. And, that's the kind of attitude I had about 3 years ago. And that's really my mantra right now is we're burning the ships and we're only going forward. And, so Celeste, I know everybody was telling you about mentorship and trying to, you're trying to find a mentor in an area that may not be as good to find a mentor. You know what? Good advice is still good advice. Doesn't matter where it comes from. So keep strong, and I know you'll find that person. I'm done.
Yay. Thank you so much for that share, and congrats, Alex. Thanks for coming up. Sorry, I was just going to hop in. I know we're about to close the room. I think this was a phenomenal room. Ron, I do want to, again, give you your kudos. You are such a good moderator, and I hope you open a room about credit. That'd be such a good topic, especially if you're versed in business credit. I know a lot of people talk about that on Clubhouse. I just wanted to say, I'm working on not starting fires on Clubhouse. I don't know why, but what I will say is we did a pretty good job on keeping things respectful, and I love a healthy debate. So I'll always lean into those conversations. And I actually learned quite a bit from all of your shares. So I really, really appreciate it. And I will pass the mic.
Yeah, no, Alex, thank you for your share, my friend, and appreciate you being here. Those words, I had to let those words kind of rest with what you shared. And Celeste, thank you so much. Again, you're exactly right. I'm always good. I'm a sucker for a good, respectful debate, but when it starts getting, becomes a zoo, then we definitely have to get reins on that. And people, I think, at the end of the day, respect that, even if they don't like it. And we had some folks that left today because maybe they didn't like that. But this is not that type of room. There's some other rooms here on Clubhouse for sure where they like to go back and forth and bicker, and 50 people come off mic and all try to talk, and that's for those rooms. But yeah, here today, I agree 1,000%. This has been a great conversation. I've loved hearing all the perspectives from everyone, and I look forward to this continuing. And Celeste, I'm not an expert on credit, even coming from as a banker. I was a little bit more on the administrative side. I know enough to be dangerous, but I'm certainly no expert. But I do have my own rant. So I have a special patented rant for credit that I've shared with people at some times. I've tried to condense it at times, so I'll spare everybody that. I've tried to condense it from a time standpoint, but I do have my specific rant around credit. And
I want to hear, friend. So yeah, open up that room.
Yeah, so I'm not a fan. Just to let you in on the spoiler alert, not a fan. I think there's other ways to
I feel your energy. Let's do it. Let's start a fire. Let's go.
So yeah, I think there's other ways, and this is what I always are challenging our group, Celeste, and more seriously is challenging our group and how we can evaluate risk management when it comes to the lending piece against being able to deploy capital, which is what we look to do. And so we did some of that just real quick in 2020. We created what was called the Road to Recovery program. We partnered with a foundation that provided us $1.6 million in funding. This is 2020 when government shut everything down. There was, everybody can remember that far back. And we deployed that 1.6 million in the form of kind of forgivable loans, where once the balance was paid down to a specific point, we used a grant portion of the funds and paid off the loan, for people. However, we continue to report it to the credit bureaus as a paid monthly payment, which helped people's credit and gain that positive credit history. But by doing that, in our portfolio, no business closed as a result of that program, of those funds. And so people really appreciate that. They appreciate the forgivable nature of that. And so that's a program that we're looking to really frantically build around, some more. And so, again, when I mentioned earlier, when Pete asked that great question, I'd love to have more conversation even around that, how we can, again, deploy that capital in those fashions to help people at various stages in their business, so that the debt doesn't just solely strap them, right, and puts that pressure on their back, but so that they can have the capital such that they can really focus on what they need to focus on, which is their development and the development of systems and processes to drive their business. So like you, Celeste, how you did that, and you mentioned it earlier, and you're able to experience the success of reaching milestones of revenue in your business. We want to be able to have more of those success stories, and how capital can be a part of that. So yeah, we'll be having additional rooms, and I'll be speaking with Jay about kind of what that looks like. I know there are other rooms that'll be going on here in the Fight for Your Business Club, so definitely follow and be a part of the club so that you can be notified when those rooms open up and that sort of thing. So definitely get plugged in, and I just appreciate everyone. There were some folks we haven't heard from that I want to hear from before we got out of here. I don't know if Andy came back and joined with us. We didn't hear from him. Stephen, I don't think we heard from you. So if you want to unmic, and then Dina, we haven't heard from you. So before we get out of here, let's hear from some of the folks that we haven't yet.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, Steven here. I was with my phone for a second, but yeah, Steven, I'm from the California, San Francisco Bay Area, in the real estate realm. Dabble in sports entertainment as well with that. I've been about 7 years, but good talks today and good shares. Yeah, I'm located in the East Bay of Walnut Creek, so it's in between San Francisco and San Jose, and I come from a coaching background as well, so I coach basketball as well for the youth kids at high school level. Those are my thoughts. I'll lay my plane.
Awesome, Steven. I appreciate that. At one point in time, of course, I mentioned earlier, I've got a basketball background up through college. A few years ago, I coached at the local Catholic school here, middle school basketball. And so I always have that appreciation for coaches. And it's part of what we talked about earlier with coaches and mentors. And I'm sure you served in one or both of those capacities. So, no, that's really cool, man. Glad to have you here, and appreciate your share. Definitely, for sure.
Exactly. Yeah, I was just
go ahead.
talking. Yeah, you're right. The coaches, the mentors and stuff like that, they follow you. But it's definitely like a mentorship you have for the kids, and that you're a role model. So they definitely see that. Me coaching from getting into it. I mean, have an accident, but coaching the freshman level, I like developing the kids because I thought I wasn't developed when I was growing up. So I feel I get back to them like that. So that's how I see it.
Love it. Love it. Go ahead, Robert.
Yeah. Hey, Ron, I just want to say one thing. Something I was listening to, I was in the other room. Somebody said that they went from $78,000 to $100,000, and I'm not sure who that was, but I want to give them the biggest shout out in the world. And the reason is because, man, you climbed that mountain, and you know what, guys? Every one of us have been there. Every one of us. And it comes down to the point where sometimes we're sitting in an office thinking, wait a second, is it even possible? So congratulations, because once you reach that milestone, man, you're off. And you're believing in yourself just by showing up here today. That says an awful lot about you. So congratulations. By the way, Ron, I sent you a message, and your stuff is absolutely incredible. Love what you're doing, buddy. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Yep, Robert, I appreciate that. And it is good to celebrate those milestones. I mean, we focus sometimes so much on the negatives and the lessons and things like that. Sometimes we miss just really celebrating even on those small jumps. I remember from our organization, one of the things that really set us off was we had a foundation that provided us $1 million in funding capital. Right. And that came from just really conversations and connecting, showing up. And when we were able to get that, that really kind of set us off. And now we're $4.5 million in assets today. But, getting kind of that first kind of run just came from, again, connecting, being present, having the conversation, sharing the value, listening, right? Being open to, critique and then, maximizing that. And, it's just bound to happen for you. Great things will happen, for those that go hard. And so, yeah, we definitely want to always shout out any of those, even incremental wins, because they all build up and they all add up and they're worthy of being celebrated. So thank you so much, Robert. Dina, are you there? Dina there at the bottom of the stage with the cool shades on. She's enjoying the sun. All right. And I don't think we ever heard from Andy. But again, thanks everybody for being here. Yeah, love your PTR there, Darren. No, I appreciate everybody for being here. Again, we're getting ready to close out. We have gone nearly 2.5 hours. I think we've had, again, a great conversation. It's great to connect with all you great people. Definitely enjoy the rest of your day. Before you get out of here, share it with somebody. As you follow the club, Fight for Your Business, share it with your network. Share it with some other people that you believe should be here and engage in and participate in the conversations and learn from all these great people that have been here. Make sure that you do that. Make sure that you're following people on stage. I've already been engaging in some messages with even some of you already, which is really good. I want to continue to do that. And let's connect and let's have conversations. Follow people here as they resonate with you. Check their bios out. And connect off the app, as Jay mentioned. This app is to be kind of a conduit for engaging those conversations and meeting people. So do that. Shout out to all of you that are in the audience, from Cass to Webster, William, Nika, Setscore, Ivory, Karan, Kristen, Dina, that are following some of the speakers. Thank you. And those at the bottom of the stage there, Haba, Sanandria, Melissa, Sarah, Elizabeth, Jesse, Stephanie, Tanika, and others that have been in here. Those listening on the replay, thank you so much for your support. You can see my business card there attached to the link. So connect with me. I've got resources there. If you want to schedule a call with me, please do that. And listen, we're going to get out of here. Thanks so much to Jay, one, for his advocacy, for his support, and his willingness to allow me to host this room. He has not heard me host a room before, right? So he was going on a lot of faith with this, because I could have been he and I spoke yesterday, but I could have been a complete joker and came in here and, you guys would have been wondering, Jay, what the hell? Who's this Ron guy? Right? And so I appreciate his faith in me to be able to do that, because he didn't have to do that, right? He could have said, go host your own damn room, right? Right? So giving me the opportunity to do this and be with you great people in this club, to me is an honor, and I want to continue to do this. Share feedback with me. I appreciate everybody's kind words earlier, but I'm always looking to improve. I didn't get here by having thin skin. I'm from the streets. I'm a street guy. I always look to be a little bit better. I've got gator skin. I don't have gator arms. I got longer arms, but I do have gator skin. So I want to be better. So please share good, bad, ugly, so I can get better. Not just now or at any point. I'm always open to that. With that, we're going to get out of here. Shout out. I love that. Jay's got to do it.
I had to do it.
I love that, man. That is awesome.
Rod. Hey, seriously, great job today, man. I've got nothing but positive comments and feedback from everybody that's reaching out to me. And, again, from what I've heard as well, really, really phenomenal job. And so please know, if you would ever want to host a room in this club, man, the door is always open. The stage is always available for you. Feel free. And anybody else who's interested, if you're interested in hosting a room here in the Fight for Your Business Club, we are booking out November right now. So by all means, feel free to reach out to me. Hit me up on Instagram. Let's see if you follow directions. Go to Instagram and shoot me a message with the title and a description for the room that you'd like to run, and we'll see where we can go from there. Ron, I appreciate you, brother. Great job today.
Yep. Jay, thank you so much, brother. And I'd be remiss if I didn't get out of here without thanking Darren for his support in this room, kind of being, helping with the chat, helping with, again, kind of controlling the audience with a little bit of ruckus that started up a little bit. I couldn't get through that without you, Darren, man. So I appreciate you. It's great that, again, we got the chance to meet coming into this room, and I look forward to remaining connected with you. But there are things like that go on behind the scenes that we always want to make sure we acknowledge, because they help with keeping the environment as clean as possible. So, Darren, thank you so much for that, man. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome. All the way from London.
Yep, absolutely. I love that. All the way from London. So, folks, let's get out of here. Listen, I always like to end my podcast. I always say this after every episode. There are three things that unite us all. No matter what side of the water, if you're like myself and Darren, we're separated by an ocean, or if you're across the train tracks or whatever it is, there are three things that unite us all. We all want to be a little bit better for ourselves, a little bit better for our families, and a little bit better for our communities. And if we can keep those things in mind with everyone that we meet, we can collectively all make this place just a little bit better, whether it's Clubhouse and then even beyond in the world. So go be great in what you do. And we'll catch you here in the next room. Follow the club. You can see the schedule. Let's come in. Let's support other rooms that are going on that Jay and the rest of the team will be hosting. Come be a part of that. And I appreciate all of your support and kind words in leading this room. So go be great, folks. Take care.